Hi, this is Kerry with Filmmaker Central, and today we're talking R0DE Wireless GO II. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Okay, it is not every day that a product comes along that I go, I have to have that. That solves a problem that I have. It fits a need that I have. It's something that I just have to go and buy. Got to have it. It's going to solve some problems for me. And the R0DE Wireless GO seems to fit the bill. But does it? Does it do what I expected it to do? Does it solve the problems that I have? And does it fit the need that I have for a product like this? So let's get into it and see what it's kind of all about. Now, I will start off by saying this is not a sponsored video. They did not send me this product. I bought it myself. I spent my $314, including expedited shipping, so I could get it. So out of my own pocket, so I can say whatever I want about this product, right? And I doubt R0DE will ever see this. I hope they do, because I hope they listen to something I have to say. But what is the R0DE Wireless GO? Well, it's this nice neoprene bag. And in the bag, we have some goodies, right? Well, I have been using the R0DE Wireless GO for, I don't know, 2 years or however long it's been out. Bought it immediately. Thought this is going to be a product that I'm going to use a lot. It's going to solve a need that I have to have good quality audio wirelessly to my camera to do the recording. And it has worked brilliantly. It's one of the best purchases I've made over the last couple of years. I use it all the time. It is a go-to microphone for me. I have used it in studio. I've used it out in the field. I've used it in my Jeep. I've used it just all kinds of places. But where's its downfall? Well, one is you can't have two transmitters going to one receiver. Now there's setups where you can have two receivers and two transmitters and put them together through a link, and it's just more setup and more cost, and you're spending about $400 to do, or $450 or so with the adapters and things. Not really the way I wanted to do things. So I almost bought some other products that could do that had two transmitters into one receiver, and I just never got around to it. But then the R0DE Wireless GO II came out, and I had to have it. Had to have it for what I do. So let's get into what it comes with, all right? I didn't do the whole unboxing. There's plenty of those out there. But what you get is you get a receiver, and this is pretty much identical size to the R0DE Wireless GO receiver. It's just the R0DE Wireless GO II receiver. Okay, so you get the receiver, you get two, count them, two transmitters, and I wish that they had been marked 1 and 2, but I'll put a little label on them so I can remember which one is which. But so that would have been nice, or a little sticker kit in the package would have been nice. R0DE, are you listening? You're listening? Okay, make it easy for me to identify which one is on channel 1 and which one's on channel 2. Would have been great, but it doesn't. All right, now it also comes, here's the second one, and this one has their little dead kitten on it. We can talk about that more in just a moment. You get a total of, whoa, don't drop them here. You get a, I should have just laid all this stuff out. I don't know what I was thinking. So you get a total of 3 of the little muffs here. You only need 2 because you don't put 1 on the receiver, 1 on each transmitter. So basically it comes with an extra. Okay, so that's nice. It comes with 3 USB-A to USB-C cables. Well, that's nice, except I have a MacBook Pro M1, and it doesn't have USB-A. It only has USB-C. So there's that. USB-C to USB-C would have been great, but whatever. USB-A to C is just fine. I have adapters and hubs that I use. So these are used for charging and transmitting data. Again, something else we'll get to in just a moment. And then it comes with this cable, which is used to connect the receiver to your camera. And this is a new cable here from the previous one. Let's see if I can get this little cover off of here. There we go. And this is called a memory cable. So you can kind of bend it in different ways and it stays in that position, versus the previous model had a coiled one. And that was fine. I didn't have any problems with that. And we'll see how well this one works. And then, of course, you get the carrying bag, manuals, and associated stuff. Okay, so what I said was this solves a problem and a need that I have. So what is that need? Well, the need is to record two people at the same time, and having one microphone on me while I'm talking to someone else, or even trying to hold, and I've done this before, I've held one and tried to go back and forth. It just doesn't work too well. And when you have two people that don't have the same volume and they're on the same audio track, trying to get their levels to match is fairly difficult. But if they're on separate tracks, it becomes much easier. You can lower one, you can raise the other one, and you can get them a lot better than you can when they're on the same track. You have to use tools like Acusonus, voice leveler, and it's still not going to be perfect depending on how people are talking. So that was one of my problems, was the fact that I often want to record two people and I needed a system. So perfect solution here, two transmitters, one receiver, done. Easy solution. And it's the R0DE Wireless GO system, which I'm very, very happy with. So love that. Okay. So that solved problem number one. Problem number two is once in a while, something doesn't work right. You didn't have a setting right. You had the gains wrong. You had some issue with the wireless system or the connection from the receiver to the camera. There's some issue that prevented the camera from recording the audio. Well, the only way around that is to have a second recorder. So I would have a Zoom H2 or something when it was really critical audio. But there were a few times where I got to edit and no audio. It's done. It just wasn't there. What do you do? There's nothing. I mean, fortunately, it happened on my Trail Traveler channel, and I was just able to do voiceover in post to kind of get around that. But it really wasn't the same feel that I wanted when I'm recording live, where I'm kind of narrating the trails that we're on. So I wanted a recording solution that I could just keep on all the time. And so there was always kind of a backup audio. Well, this solves that. How does it solve it? Well, each of the transmitters has built-in storage. Now, I'll talk about that in a minute, but the built-in storage can hold a lot of audio. Now, if you're using compressed audio, it's something crazy like 24 hours of audio. If you're using uncompressed audio for your best possible quality, you still get 7 hours of recording on one of these. So while at first I'm like, God, it would just be easy if I just could put an SD card in here and pull it out. Well, that was my first thought until I started playing with the system and seeing how it worked. Well, the transmitters store the recording in its own, I believe, its own proprietary format. It might be something that's usable. It's a .egg file, nothing I've ever used before. So to me, it's its own proprietary format. Then you use the R0DE Central software and you plug this into your computer and you can export that audio. Here's where things get super cool, right? And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. So I've got my, good thing I have a hub right here. So I have my USB-C to USB-A and I'm going to take one of the cables here and I'll plug it in. I'll plug this into the computer. And then I have the Rode Central software running, and I'm going to take the transmitter, which was this one. Again, be very handy if these were labeled, which I'm going to have to do so I can keep them straight. And I just plug this in. Now, I didn't turn it on, didn't do anything. I just freaking plugged it in to my laptop. And nothing's working. Well, 2 hubs later, and it not being detected, I just grabbed a USB-C to USB-C cable, and now we're plugged into the Rode Central software. Now from here, I can see the firmware version. If I click on the gear icon here, this is where I can turn on recording. By default, the recording is turned off. So if you want to use the recording feature, you have to go into the Rode Central software and turn it on. Now, shows your battery level and the recording quality. Now, by default, this is going to be on standard quality, which is compressed, which, I'm sorry, I said 24 hours. It's actually 43 plus hours remaining. If I go to broadcast quality, it'll say 7+ hours. So I have it on broadcast quality because I want the best possible quality I can get. It sets the time, shows you the firmware, and it will show you the files over here that you've recorded. Now, there's no way to delete these. That seems odd, right? There's just no delete button anywhere. Don't know what to say about that. It'd be nice if I could just delete them when I was done. Now, it will overwrite them as it gets full, but just from a management point of view, it'd be nice if I started the day with an empty device. So Rode, if you're listening, please update the software so I can delete the damn files. It really shouldn't be that difficult to delete the files on here. Now, that being said, it does mount the drive, and you do see the actual recordings here. So I can delete them from here, but why you can't just delete them from the app seems a little strange. But let's take this one file here, and we can start playing it. And I was putting it on. As soon as you power on the transmitter and the receiver, it starts recording.
Hi, this is Kerry with Filmmaker Central.
There we go.
And I'm testing the recording.
So we have the recording on there, and I can take and kind of make a selection here, and I'll go to the end and see where I wrapped it up there at the end. I think it was right here.
And see what it's like.
Okay, so I'll just cut the end off there and export selection. Here's where things get interesting, right? So we can export it as a WAV or MP3, 48 or 44.1 kilohertz, and 24 bits or 32-bit float. Now this is interesting, right? Now, I was really prepared to buy a new Zoom recorder that had just come out. In fact, it hasn't even shipped yet. Other than some vloggers who got them from Zoom, you can't buy one yet. I've been getting my status alerts from B&H Photo, still not in stock, and I wanted a recorder that could do 32-bit float. And what 32-bit float gives you is it records this huge spectrum of audio, so you can really bring up the lows and you can recover from the too much loudness, right? It's damn near impossible to clip audio if you're using 32-bit float. Just reduce the loudness. Simple, right? So it gives a ton of flexibility when you're doing post-production with audio to have 32-bit float. So having it here and being able to export 32-bit float is awesome. Now, second complaint about Rode Central. Every single time you hit export, it defaults you to your documents folder. I don't want it in my documents folder. I have a desktop folder called Rode Export, and I put it there. Rode, why doesn't the software remember the last place you saved a file? Come on. I mean, that seems like such a simple thing to have, is just remember the last location I saved to. Okay, my export's complete and I have my file. And I'm ready to pull it into DaVinci Resolve or Audition or pretty much any software, especially if you want to make sure it supports 32-bit float if you're using that, so you can take advantage of that format. So the R0DE Wireless GO II, for me, solves two big issues. One, the ability to record two people at the same time, and two, to be able to record people. So it's instead of just transmitting to the camera and having those two tracks, it's actually recording on the transmitters. So should there be any problem with the wireless transmission, which can happen very easily in a trade show environment or where there's a lot of RF interference, sometimes that can overwhelm the R0DE Wireless GO, and you could get crackling or even dropouts, and you go to edit it and it's almost unusable, or it can totally be unusable. This solves the problem because you have a backup of the audio on the transmitter. I can't begin to say what a huge thing this is for me. Now, also, I don't need to even have this connected to anything. If I turn on the receiver and turn on the transmitter, it's recording. So if I want to get some Foley, or I just want to do a narration, but I don't need it to be on camera, but I just want the audio, I turn them on and I'm recording. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, the R0DE Wireless GO is $199. This is basically $299. Like I said, with expedited shipping and stuff, it was $314. And I get an extra transmitter and the ability to record and the ability to export in 32-bit float. That's crazy train. I don't know what to tell you. That's friggin' awesome, right? Now, the one thing you do want to do when you first get these, besides charging them, right, is you want to connect them to the R0DE Central software. And again, you're not turning them on for them to connect. You just plug them in, right? And here's the transmitter one, and I can have the backlight on. I can change the gain mode, which is adjustable on the receiver here. Very simple. And in the original R0DE Wireless GO, and by default, when we have that gain mode set on coarse, each press of it is like a third of a setting. So you have basically three settings: low, medium, high, and that's it. In the fine mode, you have a lot more control over the gain. It's quite awesome to be able to have this much control over the gain to the actual decibel level. Now, they have this split mode. So this is going to either split it into two channels or merge it into one channel, or you can have a safety channel. And that's going to have a lower setting. So if you're not using the 32-bit float and you get some clipping, you can go to the safety channel, pull that recording, and have a lower decibel recording. It's kind of like what my Zoom H6 does. I can have it set to give me two recordings, and if I end up clipping on one, I can revert to the other one and get that done. And we have our backlight option, and that's really it in terms of options on here. And again, sets the device time and the firmware. But as soon as you plug them in, assuming you're getting them brand new like I did and they're not fresh from the factory, it's just going to tell you there's a firmware update. So plug each one in, do the firmware update, set the settings on here the way you want it, you're good to go. So very easy to use with the software. There were some problems early on before they really started shipping to consumers. If you watch some of the other reviews, they'll tell you about the app crashing and not exporting right and things just not working quite right. But my experience has been flawless, absolutely flawless. This version 1.3.3 of the firmware that I'm running right now seems to work great. Everything works the way it's supposed to. and I'm extremely happy with it. Now, I want to get back to the little dead kitten muffs here. Now, on the original ones, it had these two little plastic clips, and you'd push it in there, but heaven forbid you bump it or anything, and the little muff would fall off. Now, Rode had said, or at least told one of the other vloggers out there who really complained about that all registered users would be getting an update. Well, I was a registered user, never heard from Rode, never got an update. So don't know if that ever happened or what, but I was a little disappointed that they said they were going to do something and they didn't do it. But with the R0DE Wireless GO II, they have solved the problem. So instead of having these two little clips on here, and this is going to be damn near impossible to show, but on the bottom here, you have these two white dots. Now, if I take and put those on here, I did it perfectly the first time, of course. Now you'll feel them go into place. Give it a little turn. Of course, I'm not getting it right when I'm trying to film now. There we go. Super secure. I mean, you will rip this thing apart before this thing falls off. So awesome new design to keep the little muffs in place. Absolutely love that. I think that was a brilliant addition to the product. I'll take that off here. And we can also see that this still has the input for a microphone. So there's times where I just don't want this to be as obvious somewhere, and I'd rather use a lavalier mic. So I can tuck this away, run a lavalier, hide it, whatever I want to do, and still have all the capabilities of the transmitter as well as the recorder just using a lavalier on here. So fantastic that we didn't lose any features and we actually gained features. I think that's really awesome. So in short, $300 for the R0DE Wireless GO II, 2 transmitters, 1 receiver, an extra little muff, which is nice. It's always nice to have an extra. All the cables that you need, the connection cable to go to your camera. Now, I will say, if you plan on using this with like your iPhone, or there's some cameras I have it just doesn't like, you need a different cable. So this is a TRS cable, and some devices are going to need a TRRS cable. Now, it doesn't come with one, which would be super cool of Rode to include a TRRS cable instead of just a TRS cable, but they're inexpensive. They're about 12 bucks online, and that allows, between those two cables, you can plug it into anything. It's going to work with your Android phone, your iPhone, as long as you have a plug to lightning connector. It works with my Osmo Pocket 2. It works with my Osmo Action. It works with my GoPros. So very flexible if you have the other cable. So I highly recommend getting the other cable. I'll put a link in the description, make it easy for you to find that cable. But I think for $300 here, you're getting a kit that is absolutely phenomenal. It works great. It solves a lot of issues that a lot of filmmakers have in having 2 microphones going at the same time and not having to worry about losing audio because of a connection issue or a cable issue or some other issue where the audio wasn't recorded properly, and being able to export 32-bit float. So I think the R0DE Wireless GO II is an absolute winner in my book. Absolutely a fantastic purchase for the price. The value is definitely there. There's just a few little quirks in the way the software works, but I'm sure all of that is just going to get better and better and better. But the system works awesome. Couldn't be happier with it. So that's my review of the R0DE Wireless GO II. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos to come. Really appreciate all the likes, shares, and subscribes. And make sure you hit that bell icon, because just subscribing, you don't get notified of anything. you have to check that bell icon so you actually get notified whenever I put out a new video, and there's usually about a video a week. So thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate all the support. We just went over 15,000 subscribers. That is awesome. Really, really excited about that. The channel is growing very nicely. I really appreciate all you guys out there. So check out the R0DE Wireless GO II. I love it. It gets a 5-star rating from me. Highly recommended purchase. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.